I want to try to think about the idea of racism and like existentialism and like how we can think about um, the state of human existence and as to how racism plays into the whole thing. And I think racism is a big thing that is ingrained into our life and ingrained into our thought processes in this day and age. I think that's definitely the way it is. I don't think we can really get past that. I mean, I feel like basically racism. I'm sure that it's a pretty simple thing. It's racism is where one certain race is um, prejudice against the other race or a certain other race. A lot of times between white and black, um, or between people like to make it out like it's between white and some other minority. Um, that is where the oppression is going, where it's always the white or the oppressor and the some other minority like black or Native American or something is the oppressee. And I'm not sure that it's always like that. Yes, the slavery did occur. There was some oppression there. Well, a good amount of oppression. And there was um, the whole New World thing when we all came here from um, Europe, and we planted our flags here, and we took the land of the Native Americans and put them, on reservations. Like the Trail of Tears is really good example. I can't remember where they were exactly going. I'm pretty sure that they sent them to like Oklahoma or something. But that was basically this big trail where they were trying to get the Indians from one place to another, and that was just a very saddening thing for them because Indians are about, Native American Indians are about um, living out of the land and being one with the land, and not, and while the white Europeans were not so much. So mainly, I kind of want to think about the idea of racism, and um, I guess mainly I'm thinking about the racism between whites and blacks. And yes, um, there is racism. There is black supremacy and stuff like that, where um, blacks are being racist towards whites. It goes both ways, um, definitely. But I guess what does that say about the state of human existence? It says enough. I mean, it, it says that we are, I guess, messed up. It says that we are messed up, that we have to constantly be thinking about race. Like, we can't really have a conversation about our lives um, without thinking about race. Granted, I'm not entirely for equality either. I don't think that we are all equals. I feel like we are all very, very different, and equality is not a concept that I don't think we should be able to get behind, and we can't really. But I think we could possibly, talk to each other, various races, we could talk to each other and come together without thinking about race. And granted, yes, there is a 1% of whites that is just overly rich, and I think that's part of sometimes a lot of the time why blacks and other minorities dislike and hate the whites. But I think that's a very good point there, though. However, that's only 1% of whites. The other 99% are people who are not like that. And I think that sometimes racism can make things get out of hand, there's just something wrong with our existence. There's something negative about it, that we are constantly stuck on each other's race, and are constantly thinking about our races, and how we try to think about each other in terms of what race we are, and if, you know, I'm trying to talk to a um, black person who is weary of my kind, then he's gonna think about me in terms of my race, and a lot of times how whites will look at a black and think about that person in terms of their race. And I think sometimes that's called for, but then there's, you know, people who are whites and blacks who do the same things too. You know, they're not just gangster blacks or gangster whites too. There are, you know, poor whites too. But I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to hint at this idea that there is a big problem with human existence, that we are constantly stuck on each other's race, and we think about each other in terms of that. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on this.